was so impressive. But the impressive part of the night was all the Rotarians stood up, and an exchange student got up, and with a guitar accompaniment, they sang Imagine. And I'll tell you, that I'll never forget that night. And when I heard you were coming today and you were talking about peace, I thought we got to mention that.
Well, thank you for that. And actually, that exchange student was from Croatia, and we've kept in touch with her, and she did have a beautiful voice. I think her pursuit was acting or entertainment of some form.
Okay.
She certainly had some talent.
We're going to hear from you shortly.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
Anne and Whitney, hello there. Good morning. So, and I haven't been here for 3 weeks because we had the Princess Margaret Walk. We finished that, and it was fabulous. It felt terrific. I had one very tiny blister on one foot. And the next day, we were at the retirement for Howard Courtney at the church. And Anne and Brian and I got a chance to get up on the stage in front of a lot of people in the community of Innisfil. I mean, it was packed. And we had a presentation for Howard. We were able to have a short speech. And I got to tell you, we were very well received. I thought it was wonderful to be there representing Rotary. And October the 3rd, just the other day, was your birthday. What a beautiful picture of you on Facebook with a little one.
Thank you.
Now, who was that little one?
That was my daughter's little one, the little gal that was born premature and had some struggles early. She's doing really well.
Oh, that's terrific. It was a beautiful picture. Debbie and Paul, 33 years on the 7th. So 2 days time, 33-year anniversary. Yes. All our best wishes to Paul. Make sure you tell Paul we send him all the best.
Yeah, he actually has gone down to get my flowers today. So
Okay. What was the medal?
sent him down.
When's the medal coming?
Pardon?
When's the medal coming?
So it comes on Monday. They're making it for me, actually.
Whitney and Ryan. Whitney, on the 10th, you've got 2 years anniversary, right? Well,
That's right.
Have a wonderful day, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, and it's great to see you this morning.
Well, I'd like a baby update.
Yeah,
A
baby.
baby update. Oh, baby update.
No baby yet. We're just hanging out, chilling, waiting. All good.
Okay, so, and of course, the other thing, very quickly, and it won't take long on that, I promise you. So the Queen's passing, and we now say the King. But when I was a little boy, I was about 5, the Queen had her coronation, and I was living in the north of Scotland, and she visited our little area. So I remember standing at the side of the road, and the Queen would pass in this big limousine. She was only a young girl. She was just she looked like she was a teenager. And then many years forward to Toronto in the 60s, the Queen and Prince Philip were in Toronto, and they were opening the Queen's Plate, and they were opening up different buildings and doing a lot of ceremonial stuff. So the Toronto Police Department had a bus with 40 police officers on it. And everywhere the police went, there would be 20 officers on either side going through a crowd. She came out of the Royal York every morning. She walked down the row of police officers into her limo, and we followed that limo around Toronto for a week. And it was very interesting. And she made a point during that week. She talked to every one of the officers in the row, and I got a chance to talk to her. Fast forward to just a few years ago at the Berry Club, Princess Anne was there, and she was dedicating the new Peace Park. So that we had stations around the room, and Princess Anne walked around at her, and she said, I will say hello to everyone. So she got a chance to come to me, and I told her, you know, the royal family and our family, because my wife is from London, England, and I'm from the Highlands of Scotland. So it was very important to us, the royal family, and we always had it. My wife cried during the funeral. She was crying. Anyway, I said to Princess Anne, I said, I just want to tell you that when your mom was in Toronto, I was part of a 20 or a 40-man bodyguard for your mom. And Princess Anne looked at me and she said, well, you must have done a good job because the old gal's still kicking. And I'll never forget that. So that's me this morning. And again, welcome.
Thank you.
And you bring back a lot of great memories.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Fantastic, Al. Let's have ourselves a good news round. So we can start online. Okay. So Whitney, people already pressured you to give baby updates, so maybe something else.
Oh, well, it'll be in the same vein. So we had a little baby shower on the weekend here. The weather was wonderful. our friends came. We haven't had like a gathering with all of our friends since our wedding 2 years ago. So it was really great. There was so much food. Everybody went home with doggy bags. We had 7 different desserts. So it was a good time had by all.
Excellent.
Mhm.
And Anne,
Okay, good news. Let me think. If anybody, Innisfil today, Natasha, the reporter from Innisfil today, was asking for photos of Innisfil for their Innisfil Today online newspaper. So I sent some photos of the lake that I have taken at different times. And the last 8 episodes, the last 8 editions of the Innisfil Today, every day the banner page has been one of the lake pictures that I sent. So she must have liked them.
fantastic. Al,
I thought that was your photograph. Sue said, that looks like Anne's backyard. What a beautiful backyard it was. So the good news is, I got your dollar here this morning, okay? And I guess the good news is we're getting through this COVID thing, but it's still around. We got a call last night from Barb Love, a friend of the family, and her extended family. There was another person, not as old as me, who just passed away with COVID. So it's not over yet. And I know if you're younger, which is everybody, and you're in your good health, it's like having a cold. It's not a big deal. It's not over, and
No.
we got to remember that, okay? And we should never have gone to that super spreader at the church. I think that's what did it. There was hundreds of people there, and I can only remember a few with a mask. So sorry to be doom and gloom, but please just be careful. You don't, if you haven't had it, you don't want to get it. It's a devil. Okay.
Good morning, everybody. My good news is this club all knows our reach is embarking on a fundraising campaign. Public launch happens this fall. And all that to be said, today we're actually doing some filming of some pieces that'll be going out. So my good news is I get to be in like a cool photo shoot. I get to pretend to be at a Barrie Colts game. So I'm a little bit more casual today for that. So it should be fun every time.
Thank you, Mel, for paying for my good news announcement, which will be if I pull this presentation off. Okay, so it's a preliminary good news announcement.
Yeah, really good. It'll be fine.
News is that Al came and looked after us today. We miss you when you're not here. You give us a good start to the day, and I look very much forward to Charlotte's presentation. I know this club is very interested in the movement through the district.
I'm Taya. My good news is that the gala that I'm planning for the YMCA is over halfway sold out, and I secured a huge sponsorship yesterday. So things are going well. If anybody would like to come, get your tickets down.
How much is it?
Tickets are 180 each. Cash Cabs Row is hosting surf and turf dinner, or there's like a plant-based option, or tables are $1,000 per each. So it's like buy 5.5 tickets, get the other half free, basically.
Tax receipt.
Oh, and tax receivable.
Okay.
If the club would like to come, or the other table.
Marlene, well, let's keep on the nonprofit side. Youth Havens in my business networking group, and they just announced the news that they get to build a brand new facility, tearing down the old one, and that's because the Builders Association came in and looked at the building and went, no, nobody should be living in here. So they gave them the encouragement and the push that they needed to get brave enough, because for a nonprofit to fundraise, because all the nonprofits start somewhere, and just us sometimes thinking about raising $10,000. It's like, oh my God, can we do it? And now they're looking at they want to raise between 600,000 and $1 million. So it's a big thing for them. So, but it's good that they're being brave enough to try it.
Welcome back.
I haven't met a lot of you before. I have met some. So I actually was supposed to move into Innisfil in May. Our house got delayed a couple of times, but officially the good news is we will be moving in next week.
Yay!
We'll get more president meetings and getting more involved. Oh, yeah, my name is Zeke. I am moving from Brampton, so today was like an hour 15 drive, which I'm a little bit late. So I work in real estate. I also have a SEO company, and my family works in a sports facility. So that's what we do. And we look forward to it. So we've been in Brampton for 15 years, so it's a move after a very long time. But I look forward to getting to know everyone. I've already been in the community a few times. I came by in the winter, and it's so cool just to see people riding around and enjoying it. And, you know, it's so cold out on the lake. So I look forward to that.
They're fake smiles.
Welcome.
Welcome. And my next, this one and my next 3 weeks. I'm Debbie, and I have some good news. Oh, I retire in 25 days. Yay! Good morning, I'm Joanne, nice to be here.
My good news is I back from Florida, made it through the hurricane. Yes, and it's cold.
It's safe.
I find it actually very refreshing. It woke me up this morning when I got into the car. My good news is, geez, what can I say? My husband was away for 3 weeks and.
That is good news.
And he's back now, safe and sound, sort of thing. He's out west for 3 weeks. And we're looking forward to having Thanksgiving dinner with our family.
Good morning, Eleanor. COVID is, it's different. I received my shot yesterday with the variant in it, but I will say I took my partner to the hospital, and when I went in to visit him, I'd had him to emerge a few days before. They tested him for COVID. He was negative, brought him home. He went back to the hospital, and the doctor said, I had to get him up to get in to see him. They said, well, he has COVID. And I said, well, how did they get COVID? He said, oh, he could have picked it up and emerge. So Sue saw him safely to hospital.
Good morning, Chris. And the good news is it's evolving that we will actually have my sons from Napanee and the children here for the weekend. And so that's something to look forward to. And I didn't see any more bears and the cottages put to bed.
Yes.
Morning, I'm Jeff. I think this weather's just great. It's not even cold out there yet. It's still above freezing. Come on.
It's cold in Florida.
Oh, come on. It's still above
It's
freezing.
nice compared to out here.
So I hope this weather.
Boys, stop fighting.
Morning, everybody. I'm Ann. My good news, I guess, is about our community. C4K always does a Thanksgiving drive for some of our families that are really struggling. So we've got about 30 that we're helping. And Nantar Shores, the high school, and Friday Harbor have really stepped up and collected a pile of food for us. So we're going to sort that later today and then distribute it tomorrow. And thank you, President Tim, for offering to come and help us out.
Good morning, everybody. A wonderful dinner with my parents last night, celebrating their 64th wedding anniversary.
Wow, 64. Good morning, Teresa. I'm proud to say that Robert and I were inducted into the Lions Club yesterday. So I'm proud Lioness.
So is it Lioness? Are you?
No, it's not, but
Where's Owl? Where's the one?
You thought she roared before. What does she roar now?
Thank you all. All right, so my good news. Okay, so one of the things I'll talk about actually is already on the agenda. So I will just mention that that's when we talk about health issues. I've had some lingering ones that have been going on since the summer. I'm actually going for my tests next week. It can be nerve-wracking, but it's going to be good to actually get some answers as to what's going on. So I get to have that luckily that way. So it's yeah, hopefully we'll get some answers from that and move forward. But, yeah, so that's it. I forgot to bring my money, so I will pay up next week. So all right. So, who will be introducing, Barb, will you be taking the responsibility?
Actually, I will. This is Arlette. And Arlette's going to introduce herself in her presentation. So Arlette, welcome and thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you. Sure, I'd love to.
All right, I'm gonna get your,
All right, so just a couple of minutes before we start. Good morning, everybody. President Tim, fellow Rotarians, it's my pleasure to be here today. First off, this is the first presentation I have done for the Peace Committee, so you're a little bit of a test case. I don't want to say guinea pigs, but I would like to do the presentation with the audio that's already, that I've previously recorded, just to see how it comes across to a group. So humor me on that, please.
thank you for reminding me that. That's actually really important to say that.
Okay, so I just a little bit about myself. As Alan indicated, I'm not a stranger to Innisfil. I grew up on the 12th line. So I grew up in a time when they still had numbers. They wasn't called Mapleview. I took the school bus along the 8th line up the 12th line to go into Barrie Central Collegiate. So I'm no stranger to this area, and I actually sell commercial real estate.
Rotarians. My name is
That's where you began. Stop. Trying to get a
I
stop.
hate to compete with myself.
Okay, well, I won't start it until you're ready.
Okay.
Tell me when.
So I sell commercial real estate. This August, I will have been in the business 40 years. And I specialize in land. So Innisfil's been very good to me because this is the market that I've worked in. So I know a lot of wealthy or soon to be wealthy farmers. My volunteer work, other than Rotary, is I was the chair of the RBH Foundation. I served on that board for 14 years. I was on the board of directors of Talk is Free Theater, and I worked on steering committees with the Y. So I have put in some time in other things other than Rotary, but I've been in Rotary 25 years. I started in 1997. I don't think we need to talk about it, but I was the 6th female in the Old Boys Club. Did a lot of stuff in the early years, fundraising projects and chairing committees. Became the first female president in 2008, 2009. That incidentally was the year that this club was formed. So it was under my watch that the Innisfil Rotary Club came into being. So I kind of feel like I'm a bit of a part of you. The reason I don't come more often is I'm not a morning person. And the other thing that I've done in Rotary that was special that Al mentioned was I got to chair the district conference for John Gordon, who was my Rotary sponsor, who was the district governor in 2012-13. And we made a bold move and went to Ottawa because we thought, you know, let's attract different people that normally go to conferences. And the Imagine song was a great memory, but my better memory is watching you guys dancing on the tanks in the War Museum. And I thought, I'm not sure if this is correct, politically correct, jumping at a tank.
The good news is I had stopped drinking before that.
Wow, could you imagine? Anyway, I also chair, our club has a foundation, its own foundation, and I'm currently the chair of that. Soon I'm finishing this year after a few years. So the Peace Committee is a district initiative. It's a brand new committee. So the good news is you kind of get to take it where you want to, but the bad news is that there's really, you have to find your own direction. So anyway, without further ado, I'd like to put on the presentation and then there may be a few minutes for some additional conversation about it. And it's a generic presentation. I know you are involved in Peace Bowls, but I don't acknowledge that in the presentation. We'll do that after. So,
I will start it.
Thank you.
Is there anything interactive?
Hello, fellow Rotarians. My name is Arlette Utton, and I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Barrie. You know by now that District Governor Richard is passionate about two things, peace and the environment. This year, we have created a District Peace Committee, and I have taken on the role as chair. I will outline the steps that I would like you to consider to be a peace-building club. However, first I would like to discuss why we need this, as well as give you some background into Rotary's historical relationship to peace. When the call came to the district members that this committee was to be formed, it was the middle of February. Russia was about to invade Ukraine, and the world was watching. The situation in Afghanistan was no longer in the headlines, but things had not improved. The situation following the military coup in Myanmar had not improved, and there's still violence and executions as the purge of the Rohingya Muslims continues. China continues to be ruled by a government that suppresses human rights for its own people, as well as its unwillingness to recognize Taiwan as an independent nation. And our neighbors to the south continue to deal with the effects of the January 6th White House attack. But things are not so great closer to home either. The Ottawa protests were still going on in February, and we were uncovering more graves in the residential schools. Acts of religious intolerance, terrorist acts, and gender discrimination make up our own headlines. All of these issues seemed to hit me at once and quite frankly scared me. It is apparent that we cannot leave the politicians to find solutions to these problems, so what can we do? Perhaps the solution is to take a grassroots approach whereby the simplest acts of kindness can begin to heal and affect change globally, and from there we will build momentum. We are part of a very large organization that has the ability to make a difference. You know that from your own experience. So what is peace? Well, I'm glad you asked. There are many definitions, but here is one. Peace is a concept of societal friendship and harmony in the absence of hostility and violence. In a social sense, peace is commonly used to mean a lack of conflict, such as war, and freedom from fear of violence between individuals and groups. Here's another quote by John F. Kennedy. Peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, and quietly building new structures. Rotary International uses peace in its mission statement. The mission of Rotary International is to provide service to others, promote integrity, and advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through its fellowship of business, professional, and community leaders. And how do we fulfill this mission? Our members take action by carrying out service projects, supporting peace fellowships and scholarships, promoting peace-building initiatives. Working together on service projects connects people and creates the potential of opportunities to build community and a sense of belonging and peace. Our 7 areas of focus all focus on peace: saving mothers and children, supporting education, protecting the environment, fighting disease, growing local economies, providing clean water, sanitation, and hygiene, and promoting peace. From district and global grants to Rotary action groups, peace centers, scholarships, and finally our peace partners, peace is in our DNA. If we look at the timeline of Rotary, it's amazing how peace has always been at the center of our focus. From 1914, at the 5th RI Convention, it was resolved that Rotary should lend its influence to the maintenance of peace among the nations of the world. 1931 in Edinburgh, the 4th object of Rotary was created and stated that we would aid the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace. Havana in 1940 was significant as a resolution there formed part of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. 1942 in London led to the formation of UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. Did you know that in 1945, 49 delegates at the signing of its charter were Rotarians? And you may know that there is still an annual Rotary Day at the UN. Today, Rotary International appoints Rotarians to act as special representatives to the United Nations and its other agencies and publicizes its value as an advocate for peace. We are all aware of Rotary's commitment to eradicate polio in the world. Rotary members have contributed more than $2.1 billion, and nearly 3 billion children in 122 countries have been protected from this disease. There are currently only a handful of cases in Afghanistan and Pakistan. But more than preventing polio, many of the areas that have received vaccination campaigns have now better water and sanitation and ultimately better health care. The creation of Rotary Peace Centers is another way that Rotary is promoting peace around the world. We have 7 Rotary Peace Centers at 8 universities currently. 5 centers offer master's degrees in disciplines related to peace and development. Each university is recognized as being a leader in the field of peace studies. They are Duke University in Chapel Hill, University of Bradford, England, the International Christian University in Japan, the University of Queensland in Australia, and Uppsala University in Sweden. 2 centers, one in Thailand and the other in Uganda, offer professional development certificates in peace and conflict studies. The year-long program blends online learning, classroom studies, and a social change initiative. Currently, the location of the next Peace Center is being determined. It will be built in the Middle East, and the target date for its opening is in July 2026. Each year, Rotary awards up to 130 fully funded fellowships. Since the program began in 2002, the Rotary Peace Centers have trained more than 1,500 fellows who now work in over 115 countries. They are leaders of governments, NGOs, education and research institutions, peacekeeping and law enforcement agencies, and international organizations like the United Nations and the World Bank. Rotary has partnered with the Institute for Economics and Peace. This organization uses data to calculate the economic cost of violence and analyzes countries' levels of risk and fragility. Founded in 2007, the Institute has had a profound impact on traditional thinking on matters of security, defense, terrorism, and development. I urge you to look at their website as it has a tremendous resource list regarding the cost of negative peace and how it will affect the future. The Institute says that humanity is nearing a tipping point and facing challenges unparalleled in its short history. Global in nature, such as climate change, the ever-decreasing biodiversity, depletion of the Earth's fresh water, and overpopulation. Such global challenges call for global solutions and require cooperation on a scale unprecedented in human history. Peace is the prerequisite for the survival of humanity in the 21st century. Without peace, it will not be possible to achieve the levels of trust, cooperation, and inclusiveness necessary to solve these challenges, let alone empower international institutions and organizations necessary to address them. In the past, peace may have been the domain of the altruistic, but in the current interconnected and highly mobile global society, it is clearly in everyone's self-interest. On an international level, peace hasn't always been taken very seriously, but things are changing, and organizations like Rotary, as well as others, are shifting the conversation on just what peace is and isn't, how peace is measured, and how peace is practiced, how peace is done. So what creates positive peace? Well-functioning government, equitable distribution of resources, free flow of information, good relations with neighbors, high levels of human capital, acceptance of the rights of others, low levels of corruption, and sound business government. Considering Rotary's work through a positive peace lens, we can see how all our areas of focus are interconnected. They address social, economic, and political factors and relations, and consider the various interrelated facets of human development. We can extend this connection, this overlap, between the pillars of positive peace and projects in our own communities that fall within Rotary's areas of focus. This means that a project that appears to focus on just one theme is more likely connected to and overlaps with the other. So let's get back to the District Peace Committee. The purpose of the Peace Committee is to build awareness of peace programs to fulfill Rotary's mission to empower and enable Rotarians to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace. We believe that positive peace embodies the attitudes, structures, and institutes that support and sustain a peaceful society. Through these actions, we address the underlying causes of conflict, which include poverty, discrimination, ethnic tension, lack of access to education, and the unequal distribution of resources. The peace committees fall under the jurisdiction of the Rotary Action Group for Peace, which is an action-driven group of Rotarians, spouses, and Rotaractors who work together for the purpose of advancing peace and preventing wars throughout the world. The Rotary Action Group for Peace was formed in 2012 as a group of Rotarians recognized by Rotary International, focusing on providing a network and resources to further the peace and conflict resolution of Rotarians around the world. So how do you become a Peace Builder Club? First of all, you must designate at least 2 members, one to serve as chair, who will coordinate the club's peace-related activities and programs. This person will serve as the club's contact person for peace-related communications with the district. Ensure that at least one club program or educational piece is peace-focused. Involve youth in peace-focused activities. Promote Rotary Peace Center and scholarships. And promote within your community your club's commitment to peace, goodwill, and understanding. I urge you to go on the Rotary Action Group for Peace website to get more details on how to become a member. One of the ways you can show your club's commitment to peace is by purchasing and installing a peace pole. Peace poles are used by groups all over the world as reminders of peace. Plant a peace pole project to demonstrate your club's commitment to peace, celebrate your peace-building achievements, and inspire others to do the same. I know that there are several clubs in the district who have already or are in the process of installing peace poles in their community. And it's also a great public relations initiative for Rotary to show members of the community just how committed we are to the process of peace. When we were developing the District Peace Committee, I reached out to some members and asked why they were motivated to participate. The answers were thoughtful but very different. From the goal to improve lives and create a more equitable world to the fear of the volatility we experience, be it from race or religious conflict, to the fear of some of today's world leaders. Perhaps the most memorable, though, was from a member that grew up in Hungary during both World War II and the Hungarian Revolution, who knew firsthand the horror of war. Now I ask you, what is your reason to become a peace builder? I also reached out to Bryn Stiles, who I am sure you would agree has seen firsthand what Rotary has done and can do around the world, and this is what he said. Peace will not happen in the abstract. I firmly believe for peace to happen, it has to start in our communities. Rotarians and Rotary clubs are in a unique position. They are engaged in their communities on many levels. Rotarians may not know it, but they are already peace builders. Every project we do in our communities helps to promote peace. By following the 4-way test, we promote a peaceful solution. But with the polarization that is occurring within our communities, in our country and worldwide, we need to be more aggressive and organized about being peace builders. Rotary clubs need to have a focused direction on how they can work within their own communities and externally in not only promoting peace, but providing tools so peaceful solutions can be found. The resources are available to do this. We just need the direction to make it happen. So I would like to close with another quote, this one from Margaret Mead, who said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Thank you for your attention today. I am excited to be able to work with you to fulfill our goals of building peace clubs, a peace district, and ultimately a more peaceful world. I encourage you to go on the Rotary Action Group for Peace website to see how you can participate in helping to achieve this. Time and time again, we see the impact of Rotary around the world, and I don't believe there has been a time when the need for Rotary action has been greater. I'm happy to provide any assistance you may require. Remember, all we are saying is give peace a chance.
Okay. Thank you. So a couple of things I just wanted to point out before I ask you if you have any questions, if there's time. I know there's never time for questions. Everybody just talk, goes, oh no, not question. So I mentioned a peace builder district and peace building committees, or peace builder clubs. And actually they're quite different. So District Governor Richard would like us to become a peace builder district. In order to do that, it's a cost of $25,000 US. And the district has committed $10,000 towards it. And his goal is to have 10 clubs pay $1,500 US to Rotary International. And that money goes towards peace centers and peace scholarships. Maybe you don't want this recorded. I personally think that that's a little bit aggressive to try to do, and it's a one-year deal. I mean, in order to sustain it, it has to be done every year. I would like you to consider becoming a peace builder club, which is actually through the lens of the Rotary Action Group for Peace. And I brought the application form. It just requires one member to be chair and another member to be an assistant. And you basically, once you become a peace builder club, you go on the map. And what I would love to see is our district just start to have all these pinpoints on the map showing that, you know, we're growing the peace committee, the peace clubs. So, and I think it's for $40 a year is the cost of joining the Rotary Action Group for Peace. So I think it's a little more attainable, and I don't want to set us up for failure saying, you know, let's try and, I mean, I think our budgets are fairly high and our resources have become a little bit limited in the last couple of years. So I think it's a practical approach to it. But anyway, are there any questions that,
Are you going to send your presentation around to all of us in the district?
Yes.
That's so great. It's gonna have to drive to all of us.
well, I'd like to drive to as many as I can, but I recognize that, you know, driving to Haleybury in the winter is probably not in my best interest. Driving home from Sudbury in the rain was bad enough. But anyway, I understand maybe if there are no questions, maybe you can tell me what, you know, sort of what your peace initiatives are and where you are with your peace goals.
Well, before we go to that, I was just going to quickly put my Rotary hat off, my Toastmasters hat on. And your presentation, absolutely wonderful material. I thought you did a fantastic job with that. There were a couple stylistic things I recommend you looking at perhaps before you send it out.
Sure.
Only one limitation is the color scheme that we've chosen, that Jennifer chose this year, the lavender that's in the Imagine Rotary sign. When you use that in small text on a white background, it becomes really, really difficult for people to read, especially in a room such as this. So you may want to look at little things like that. How do you make those things pop on the screen if you're doing it? And also if you are saying that you may want to consider adding some closed captioning, visiting the people for people who are
Okay.
hearing impaired and things like that, because
Sure.
you actually, there are actual not laws, but there are certain things, but when you said it, materials about making sure that.
And I
they're able
think
to-
PowerPoint has that ability because I ended up clicking on it by mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't necessarily trust it. Make sure you go through it very, because it's not perfect. So yeah, you so
Kinda like
have
spell
somebody,
checking has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
have somebody peer review with you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to chat with you about that afterwards. And I'm going, but just to add things, because I think it's a wonderful project that I think it even further.
Well, and I appreciate that. I mean, this banner, for example, I sent to, we have a graphics guy in our club, and I just sent him basically what the slide presentation looked like, and he was able to sort of obviously dress it up a bit better, but.
That looks really nice. The blend of purple to green to white is really, really nice. That's well done.
I think most people in the district know who you are. Maybe a little picture of yourself on the first slide, because your voice sounds really good. In the video, I know that when I leave a voicemail and you can like listen back to it, I'm always like, oh no, that's really good.
Okay, well, and the idea is to be on, if it's being presented to be on
Yes.
Zoom, so then I would sort of
So your
be
face
there
is there.
anyway,
Okay.
so, yeah.
So I know you have a lot of information behind all this.
Yes.
I think it's interesting to note that since the First World War, there has been a war in the world continuously somewhere. There's conflict somewhere. I remember the Vietnam War. I was a young police officer in Toronto. We had big protests at the US Embassy. But ever since the First World War, and probably before that, there's been a conflict somewhere in the world. And I saw a program the other day, and it was a reputable program. And it was about the war machinery and the production. Right now in Ukraine, the Americans are trying to get as much firepower in there as they can in the way of tanks, missiles, rocket launchers, support things, because it's a testing ground. The Americans love a war. The Americans always have to have a war somewhere in the world because they produce all this machinery and they test it in their private fields. But there's no better test than put it into a war. So they're watching closely to see how their stuff is working in Ukraine, and it's working very well because the Russians don't have the technology, don't have the same equipment. So unfortunately, behind the scenes of peace is the fact that major countries in the world, and America is probably one of the biggest, the strongest Navy, 12 aircraft carriers. There's a mismanagement here.
I think it's unfortunate that you have to sort of go deeper than altruistic wanting to help people, that there's a business associated with, farms and stuff like that, and who builds them and who's profiting from them.
Arlette, can you tell us of any, we're doing the Peace Bowl project, which you're aware of, but are there any other small things that we can do that are not terribly money intensive, or maybe more labor or physical activity or project driven or things like that, that are small beginning steps, especially for a smaller club, to proceed where a checkbook isn't always available?
Well, I think, any act of kindness is an act of peace. So, you were showing me Troy's fridge, and I mean, that to me is an act of peace. I mean, like, we have to remember peace is not necessarily not war. It's, how do people have a more peaceful life? I mean, if you're fed, there's more peace. I mean, if you, help people with education, and I mean, everything we do really is peace driven. We just haven't labeled it. And I think that's the thing is, if we take these little steps and we talk about it, then it kind of takes on a bit of a life of its own, and it becomes maybe a groundswell where everything that we look at through how does this make somebody's life more peaceful. I think everything we do is like that, but the food bank is a grassroots, close to home kind of thing. I mean, that's a peace initiative.
So every year we have our grade 8 awards,
Mhm.
and they're very well attended. Some of them are at the church with hundreds of people. And I know a few of us have been involved in that for years. And I always say in my little speech, before we make the presentation, I said, I'm from the Rotary Club, and just to let you know what the Rotary Club in Innisfil is about. In the world today, Rotary promotes clean water, the eradication of polio, and peace in the world. And I've always said that. I've always said that. And I think we probably could get that into our maybe other presentations. You know,
For sure.
even to just mention it.
And I think
Because
that's
people probably don't even think Rotary Club and Peace, right?
right. And I think that's part of the thing is to just, you know, it's promotion, it's public relations. I mean, Rotary needs good public relations. I mean, we need to, you know, go out and get money from people for sponsorship or buy tickets or, you know, attend functions and stuff like that. But we also need to encourage membership. And I think there's part of that feel-good thing about, you know, we are out there doing good in the world. And right now, I mean, it really feels like we are, I mean, I was being very, very genuine when I said, when the call came out for this committee, I was just so upset with what was going on in the world. And I thought, you know, it's kind of like putting a drop into the ocean, but at least I feel like I'm doing something. I think that's how we all should feel when we're, you know, it's a little step. So.
You were asking earlier about our peaceful initiative.
Yes.
Just with the consideration of time, because we are running out. So we do have one poll. So the concept I came up with, that I approached District Governor Denton about, was 7. Going for 7, 1 for each of the Rotary areas of service. And also the fact that our town here in Innisfil is basically a whole bunch of different hamlets, not always feeling that they are given a fair share of the attention. So the idea is that spreading it out so that everybody gets some share from it. So we don't have any in the ground right now. We have the first one designed. We do have the images of that. I sent that off to Richard, but I can get more to you as well. It's beautifully rendered by a local artist. And that is my goal, my wish, my goal is that the all 7 and even beyond, if we get more, are all individualized and unique.
Well, I would encourage you to look into joining the Rotary Action Group for Peace, because it also has a peace. If you've got peace poles around, there's another map for peace poles. So it's kind of a, you know, giving the Rotary, you know, Innisfil the highlight that they're peace builders, they're also peace poles.
Those are 2 separate things, the actual committee versus the club being a peace club, right? 2 different things. We'd have to
The
ratify
district
that.
versus the club.
Yep.
Yeah, and the district one is a little bit of a challenge financially, I think. But being a peace builder club is certainly well within everybody's ability.
Are there any peace poles up in the district?
Sudbury.
So.
Yeah, that's the one that's been in existence. And that's the only one that I know of, but I've talked to people who are looking at doing, I think it's Bracebridge are looking into doing it. But, you know, the other thing too is, you know, do you spend your money on something like that, or do you spend the money helping somebody? So there's the balance, right? I mean, so you've got to get more, I think the public relations side of the peace pole is really important, because it's basically promoting Rotary in your community.
Okay, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. We only have 5 minutes left for the rest of our meeting. So this was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your time.
And anything we can do to support, we will discuss as a club. So, all right, time. So I promised a couple meetings ago, web sales portal. Let's pull it here. I'll do a screen share. These online. That's because there's not a spelling break. I'm obviously not having enough coffee this morning. Even though I have an extra large. Sorry. It doesn't like me today. Okay, we do have a. It is, oh, it did. Okay, I will send it out. There is an actual online link, so if you want to sell 50/50 tickets and can't see people in person, they can go in and can purchase tickets, and we can do what we did with the beer for a year and fill them out and scan them and send them to them. So it's another way to promote. So I will get that out to everybody today. Also, Jeff has asked for all tickets to be back to him by the 10th because the 12th is the big day. So we doing the draw here. So I heard Teresa and Andy are talking about going back to Sobeys
Tomorrow, 1:30, if anyone's interested in joining us.
Yeah, so this is the week. So if anybody has time to go up to the stores, let me know. If you, I know Allison had gone to Foodland in Cookstown, and I don't know if she got to Stroud or not because she was having some car troubles. But if anybody can get out to different locations so that we can kind of sell as many as we can to, because sometimes Sobeys is great, but you never want to know how often are we getting the same people over and over again. So if we go to different stores, we have opportunities at other places. So, and of course, this is Thanksgiving weekend. I know not everybody likes hitting up their family, but this is the time to do it. All right. Finally, tonight, so District Governor Denton has his fireside chat. He calls it Frankie's fireside chat. Well, do you know what the Frankie?
That's a little dinosaur dummy thing, stuffing thing.
Oh, okay. Something?
No,
I wasn't sure what the
stuffing
Frankie
thing, like it's a-
part of it was. So if anybody wants to watch tonight, there will be one of the speakers is a funny looking guy. I'll be speaking tonight on the nature and nurture of volunteerism. So it's 20. So I'm actually timing this one very carefully because I don't know if anybody here remembers my last time I did 20 off the cuff. It was I had Barb doing this after a while. She was great. Thank you. I won't be able to see her online though, so I got to make sure I'm timing this one correctly. So yeah, that'll be good.
Excuse me, President Tim, is there a connection for that? Is there a link for that?
Yes, I don't know. Did you get this?
For the fireside?
Yeah, does
It came out in the email, but I can forward mine to the club.
Thanks, Barb.
I got it the day before.
Yeah, I did as well. So yeah,
So
I'm
it's
sure if you
probably
go to
there,
everybody
yeah.
or not.
You were probably opening.
Okay.
I'll send it to you, Anne, because does everybody else remember getting it?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll just send it to you, Anne.
Thanks, Barb.
Thank you. All right. Okay, Janet, do you have anything for Learning Corner?
Yes, something non-Rotarian, but more of a personal service announcement. I was at Costco in the gas station last week, and all of a sudden my phone rings. And I took it out and started talking to the person. And all of a sudden I get the concession people coming around going, no, and I'm going, what? And they said, no phones. And I went, oh, okay. So I said, I'm gonna have to call you back later. And I did, I put my phone down. I said, why no phones? And all of a sudden they pointed on the gas pump that there's a no phone symbol on it where the lines are. Well, I've never paid attention to that. Okay, not that it's been something that is a problem because I normally don't pay, take phone calls on this, but it was just kind of weird that this happened. So the two girls came over and we started talking about it. You can get a $10,000 fine if you are on your phone around gas.
Wow.
What if the gas station on fire? Can you use your phone then?
Yeah. So they said this because it can cause static and it can cause the fumes to ignite. So I think
inside your car while your husband's.
Well, that's the other thing. I have done that, right? So just as a warning, if you are pumping gas, don't use your phone.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things when it comes to that, because we've heard of situations like Samsung phones just randomly exploding. Or, you know, if you put, if you're somebody like me who likes to put it in your pocket, you have somebody randomly walk up to you and say, do that because it'll kill you, because it's right by your heart, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a
And
danger.
Of course, the reality is, right now in Canada, across Canada, there's probably a few hundred people on their phone at a gas station.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, you know, that, it just really shocked me, you know, but the $10,000 was the wake up call.
Janet, you're such a rule follower. I am shocked.
Well, who reads the gas station, the gas pumps, you know, like just.
Oh, I was that kid who read cereal boxes and things like that, if I had doing this on the read, so yeah, if I sit there pumping gas, I'll read all the things on the side, because I just do that. So, 50-50 drop.
Just while Arlette's doing that, Kempenfeld Rotary is doing a polio event October 21st at Vesper Hills. Pizza, 5-piece with polio, pizza, Peasant Kings the band, poutine, purple, and pints. 5-piece, it's the 5th year they're doing it, tickets are $40. And they are gonna be done selling them soon, so get your tickets now, it'll be very fun.
I've been before, it's very fun.
Yes.
It's big fun.
There's Kempenfeld Rotary sign.
688.
Anybody?
David, hey,
Jeff?
Bueller.
Yay. All right, okay, finally, I can just say that tomorrow, if anybody's got some time, Toastmasters are meeting at, I think it's an online meeting, I'll find out, because I'm Toastmasters, so I'll be running the meeting. So, yeah, all right, everybody have yourselves a great day, and be good. Thank you. And Whitney, thank you.
Bye, have a good day.
Bye, have a great week.
So excited.